I also hear a turkey though. Is there a turkey with a 2x4 in the woods? If you're new to the project, a big warm welcome. If you're a tough old root, then welcome back. Here on Steep in the Woods, we don't have a lot of money. We are actually building a small tower house out of used pallets. Now, in this construction process, I needed some joist hangers for our second level, the bit that I'm actually standing on right now. However, I could not afford to purchase them, so we had to make them. However, we took it to the next level and made our own concealed joist hangers, giving ourselves even more profit out of the same labor. So this is what I have. I have several of these large pieces of angle iron here. This is actually something that my brother had. A company sent him some kind of machine, and this angle iron was actually the package for it. It shipped to him inside of an angle iron cage, and when he went to go toss it, I said, wait, no, I definitely need that. Don't be tossing that. I want it. So now we have it. And as you can tell, it's kind of rusty. It's kind of nasty, but it's still just as structural as it was. Being rusty doesn't mean nothing, except that we're going to have to clean it, and then we'll cut it to length, drill holes in it, and then protect it from rusting in the future. We're also going to be making our own joist hanger nails. Because I don't have those. It is surprising how expensive brackets are. I can't afford the actual bracket, so we're going to make them out of what is essentially, at least to the person that I got it from, was garbage. So these small pieces right here are actually high carbon steel. They're really good steel. Don't tell anybody. It's a secret. But old bed frames are high carbon steel. Definitely the cheapest way to get them. You know, the size, you're kind of stuck with a smallish piece of angle iron in your material, but it beats the pants for the price. You know, you go to one of those rehab stores, and you know, you can get one for $10, and you've got a lot of high carbon steel for that money. So we're not using those. We're only using these. And step one is we're going to clean them up. We're just going to try to get all of the scale off of them. We will be using a chemical method to get them completely cleaned. So they cleaned up really well. I mean, this isn't unattractive to look at least when compared to what it was before. I mean, any amount of rust, it's like a seed. So even the tiniest amount will just grow. So it won't take long for it to turn back into what it was when we first started cleaning it. But what we'll do next is we'll go ahead and cut them into length. We'll drill our holes, and then basically, you know, you just put it in vinegar and salt. And you let it sit for, you know, however long that it takes to get the metal completely clean. At which point we will pull it out. We will submerge it in a solution of baking soda and water to neutralize any of that acid that may still be on it. And then we will coat them in a small layer of clear coat. So hopefully we'll have some really good looking brackets by the end of this. I went ahead and cut off the end of this one. Obviously we don't need anything like this in our bracket. We want just a solid piece. So what we do now is we're going to go ahead and measure down. Take our straight edge. Now that we have him marked to the correct, you know, we want it to be as close to full length of this of this joist as possible without sticking up any, because we do want to put our wood flooring on it and have it go all the way flush to the wall. So now we just clamp this one down over here and cut them, and this will be 1 of 18. We need to make 18 of these brackets. So I just noticed something, right? I just noticed something that is unfair. It's unfair that this issue exists. It's also unfair that damn chicken won't be quiet. But this isn't a perfect right angle. Why is it called angle iron if it's not at a right angle? So we're gonna have to not only cut 18 of these, clean off the rust, drill our holes, protect it from rusting in the future, but we've also got to fix it. We got to make this a right angle, because I'm not going through all this effort just to have it be wrong. That was the sound of a board falling. Be very surprised if a tree branch or a log could make that noise. Okay. There's not supposed to be anybody here. I mean, nobody. It's me and the other mountain man. We're the only people on this road. So we're talking a large distance, a large amount of space between us and anybody else. We don't let people show up here. So, I also hear a turkey though. Is there a turkey with a 2x4 in the woods? Yeah, that's a turkey. It's right. It's a bunch of freaking turkeys right up the mountain. So I don't know how it'll turn out on the camera, but if you can see right here and right here where it bulges in, we're gonna knock this down and knock this down so we have a flush fit against our board. I am in no way, shape, or form concerned about doing any grinding on these pieces of metal, because no matter what, they're still twice as thick as anything you can get from the store. If I remember correctly, those other brackets were 18 gauge, which works out to be slightly less than a millimeter, and this is over 2 millimeters thick. and it's time to start drilling our holes. These brackets are going to go, there'll be 2 of them, because they are hidden brackets. These brackets are going to go like this on our 2x6 runner, right? And I want a fastener in each of the 4 corners. So this triangle shape will give us an X. So we'll have a pretty, you know, we'll spread out our fasteners over the majority of the surface area involved in these brackets. Now they're mirrored on the opposite side, because right here we're going to have our joist come in. And I want to keep as many nails and as many fasteners away from the very edge of that joist as possible, because they're not going to have a lot of holding power, and you're also just, it's really just going to want to make your joist crack. So what we're going to do is we have a variety of different drill bits here. We're going to go ahead and drill our holes in the pattern. We will start out with a smaller drill bit and then transition up to the full-sized bit, and then we're going to take a slightly larger one and just knock off these edges. So the next step is just very basic, very quick, not a huge deal. I got some Dollar Tree sandpaper here, obviously. We're gonna take this and just knock off any of the most aggressive rust, right? Any of the flaky bits, anywhere where it's just really thick. We're gonna go ahead and do that. That way the vinegar can do its job really quick, because I'm ready to put these things to use. So this one right here is ready to go into the vinegar, at which point we'll pull it out tomorrow, put it in a solution of water and baking soda to neutralize the acid of the vinegar, and then we'll be ready to dry them off and clear coat these. So in this bucket right here, I have my vinegar, and this one right here is just plain water. We're just going to quickly rinse these off, because we did sand most of them. I do want to pull off any of that rust dust, and just put them in. Now, why I'm drying them off is to make sure that I don't dilute my vinegar. It's also why I keep a lid on this bucket. You know, we want to retain this asset for as long as possible, and eventually it will sort of run out of its acidity and not be quite as good at cleaning metal. But I've cleaned multiple things in it and it hasn't ran out yet. And then what we'll do is we'll come back tomorrow and check on these. Really? Really, dude? Whatever. You're gonna smell like vinegar. Well, now you coming over? Oh, don't go satin now. And don't drink my vinegar, okay? I can't go anywhere. I can't do nothing. So I'm sitting here, it's been 24 hours later, and I'm cleaning off all of the rust. The vinegar did its job, all the rust is detached. This bucket right here has water and baking soda in it, so what I'm doing is I'm pulling them out. I'm using a grabber only because I don't want to sink my arm elbow deep into salt and vinegar. Although all of this is food safe, right? You can eat baking soda. I don't know if I'd eat a bunch of it. You can eat vinegar and you can eat salt. I'm just trying to stay as clean as possible. That's why I've got my gloves on. But either way, we're just pulling it out with this grabber, immediately dunking it into the baking soda water to neutralize that acid. And then just whatever you want to use. I have a sponge, steel wool, obviously. You know, you can use wire brushes or some of that wet, dry sand paper. And we're just cleaning it off and washing it. So basically, it's not so much scrubbing as it is washing. So here you are. These are the cleaned brackets right here. No, they're not perfect, but man alive, are they so much better than what we started with. But in this particular application, I'm going to use clear coat. I got this one and I've got this one. These are actually, I mean, these are old. They're getting rusty, but I tested them. They still work. These are back from when I was doing copper jewelry, which, speaking of, we're going to be making more jewelry. I'll do some copper, but primarily I'm wanting to do silver. I just got to be able to afford the silver in the first place along with the tools. So look for that on the website. But either way, these are old, but they still work. So no cost spent here, at least not in the present time. I'll put a coat on all of them, let it dry, put a second coat, at which point we will flip them over and coat the bottom sides twice. And these brackets will be done. We are very close to the finished product right here. Very, very close. These are our finished brackets right here. They're not perfect, but by God, they are strong. And we did them for nothing. I didn't have enough money to buy the correct item, so the project was at a standstill. Project Pallet Tower was dead in the water until I either came up with some more money or made my own. And obviously we went with the making our own bit. None of these are perfect. They are handmade items, so they're not supposed to be perfect. Any modification needed by this point will be done to our actual joist. So the next step, we're actually going to try to get this joist into place today. So the next step is grabbing whichever brackets we're going to use for this one, putting them on the end, and then just modifying the joist itself so that these sit as flush as possible. These back here, right, 1, 2, 3. These are 3 of our joists along with one down here. These are laminated 3 pallet board thickness, made out of, obviously, pallet boards. This one is the most fuddly, so we're going to put him in first at the back of the actual structure, so he'll be the most hidden. We can always sand these, we can always stain them or paint them, so we can work around them not looking as beautiful as I would like. And you know, it's possible, even for someone else, not for me, that you could even put drywall up and you'd never know that your house was made out of pallets. You could hide all of this in a facade of just normal looking house stuff, but we're not going to do that. A, it's more expensive, and B, I didn't put all this effort in just to pretend it's normal, right? This is an abnormal structure, and I'm gonna make sure that's blatantly obvious to anybody who ever steps foot in the house. So anyway, let's get to modifying this joist and putting him in place. That's a heavy joist. So this is a 4x4. This joist, if you used to go buy a bracket and you didn't want one of these right angle brackets, you'd be looking for something for a 4x4. That's roughly the right size and shape. We basically created a 4x4 out of pallet wood here, just for a size reference of strength or whatever. I know there's always that one dude who wants to do the math behind me and prove me wrong. Like that. That'll work. Rock and roll. We have our fitted bracket, and I got another one. Let's see which way to this one. This one goes like that. So now you can get a look at it, right? So when this attaches, this right here will go up against our 2x6. When it attaches, we got a nice X shape of nails, fasteners, which we did cut. We cut some longer nails because I'm having to use what I got. And then on this top part right here, you'll see the shape of this, right? So when that goes up, we got as much fasteners as far into the board as possible. You don't want 1, 2, 3 and then 1, 2. You want to move all your fasteners as close into the board and get as much bite as possible. So yes, I do have one right here at the edge, but the majority, 4 out of the 5, are as far up on this joist as I can make them. So now we are done. That's how it'll work. Let's go in the house and start attaching this. If you're new to the project, right, this is the first Steep in the Woods video that you've watched, and you're just watching it about the brackets. Well, this is what we are using them for. This is what we are building. This is a pallet tower, and it's gonna be a lot taller than it is now. So the whole point of doing the second level and making the brackets, which is included in this second level, the construction of it, is that I'm pretty much reached the max of how far I can drag these, what are really heavy solid oak pallets, drag them up a ladder and put them in place. So I'm going ahead and doing the second level now. That way I can bring my work surface up and I won't have to use the ladder quite as much. What we'll do is we'll drag the pallet up to the second level, and then from the second level, I'll be right there at it. So it's a whole lot safer. So either way, if you're just watching the bracket video and you know nothing about us, this is what we are currently building here on our off-grid property, a pallet tower tiny house. All right, it's in place. Boy, this looks good. This looks good. I'm very happy with it. I'm very happy with it. I ain't even got brackets on it yet. I'm very happy. All right. So now we slip our brackets behind this one. And here. All right, those are marked. Pull these guys back out. So I've got this bungee cord here that is, in theory, going to allow me to hold this beam up out of the way while we work on our brackets here. Same as before, we're going to remove our little piece of wood now. that. Alright, try to get them as flat as possible. We'll replace this piece of wood. We got something to set this on, because obviously there ain't no bottom to this bracket. Now, if there's any amount of gap in between this board and here, I'm going to take that ratchet strap and pull it tight. I know what square is. I mean, obviously this is, you know, it's made out of pallets. Any structure that ain't got a roof on it yet, it's going to be wiggly. This is actually dramatically less wiggly than a 2x4 structure would be in the same scenario. But yeah, we're going to pull this tight. I know what square is. I cut this square. I didn't cut it to the size that it was. I cut it to the size that it needed to be, and we will force this wall in to make it how we want it to be. Oh, nice. Just like that. Rock and roll. We do have some amount of gap, so I am going to go over here and ratchet this ratchet strap up, and yeah, we should be good. So we're going to go ahead and we'll remove this once we get a nail on each side. I'm also going to pre-drill these, and I cut these nails down a little bit shorter. That way they would make it to the middle of this beam, but not oversect. See, there's 5 nails on each side. I didn't want this middle beam to have 10 full-length nails in it, so I cut them down slightly. Make sure he's down. Yep, I mean, shoot, that's exactly what we want right there. Happy, happy. This one's good. Yeah, I wanted the holding power of as many nails as possible, but I don't want my beam to crack all to pieces. That's where pre-drilling comes in. If you'll notice this one, right? That goes to the center, but just barely. Right there. Now, I mean, this is fiddly, but when it's done, it'll look really cool, right? We have a very interesting, very expensive form of bracket here. Go, toss him down there. We don't need him. And now we can get easy access. Go ahead and drill all of our holes. So everything is as flat as possible. Well, there you go, boys. This beam is attached, right? It's not necessarily attached on the other side, at least not fully. So I won't hang off it yet, but here is your floating bracket, your hidden bracket right there. We're done. We're done with this side, and that's how it looks. So there you have it. That is the video, right? Those are the brackets. You can do anything you put your mind to. What you have, as long as you're willing to be as creative as possible, what you have will usually work. You can find a way to make it work. All of our drill bits were secondhand. They were used. They were crappy. The angle iron, while still incredibly strong, was extraordinarily rusty. That added a layer to it. So we didn't even have perfect angle iron. This isn't a video telling you, hey, go to Lowe's, buy angle iron and make your own. This is a do what you can with what you have type video, type scenario, and type lifestyle. But here we are. We have the joists for the second level. I'm not a big fan of climbing on them like this, so I'm gonna have to do a little more stuff to it, because the idea, as I'm sure I said in the video, was to bring my work surface up. So I've got to put another pallet here, or actually I think this one's a half pallet, but either way, this whole circle here needs more pallets, and I really was just at the very farthest extent of what I could do with my ladder. So we brought our work area up. We went ahead and did the second level. It was made out of pallet wood, 100% handmade, even down to the brackets. So yes, I like it, and this thing is getting really tall. I will tell you, if you're going to join the project and come along with us on future builds, I do not like heights. I do not at all. I like tall buildings, but I hate heights. So if you see me looking all squeamish, that's because I'm uncomfortable with how we're high up. I mean, yeah, technically my feet are only 7.5 feet off of our first level floor, but then you have a foundation under it, the thickness of the boards themselves, and then you add in the fact that my head and my eyes are another 6 feet above that. So yes, it definitely feels really tall. But you only got to do it once, right? Do the thing correctly, do it once, bite the bullet, overcome your fear, and have something that you can actually be proud of. So either way, that is it. I hope you guys liked what you saw. If you did, always remember, if you liked what you saw, hit that button. If you're new to the project, hit that other button. You want to support the project, there are links below. Until next time, here, Steep in the Woods. All right. One. That's all she wrote. I was hoping to do at least 2 of them. No. Look. I don't like this. Yeah, that's it. Now I just got to get back over there to the camera. I don't like heights.